I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Dumb Witch Club.
Hello, darling.
Hello. Welcome back to Dumb Witch Club.
Thank you. Welcome back to Dumb Witch Club to you.
I feel like one, it hasn't been that long because it's a week, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But we've also seen each other like almost every single day in between.
Yeah.
And we're going to see each other for the next 3 days in a row, too.
Yeah.
So I'm like super excited.
Me too. It's fun. It's spooky season. There's all kinds of activities.
It is. And we're having so much fun with our spooky season theme this year. It's already underway. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back, listen to it all.
Yes.
We're super excited to be here. Although today's episode, a little wacky.
Yeah, you're not super excited about it.
No. And I feel, I'll get into it more later, but I feel like these cusps just keep getting worse and worse. The next, and I'm just looking at it and I'm just horrified. Anyways, okay, let's start with a card pull. I need some help.
Yeah, let's do that.
We have-
Trusty Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle deck. It's the season for it, so you'll be seeing this one
Yeah,
quite
we're
a bit.
really just gonna stick with it for the season.
Yep. I'm into that. I like it. It's always served us well.
I like it too. It has.
Used to use it a lot in Manifest Book Circle.
We did.
Any of you former members from Manifest Book Circle watching this?
Aren't they still members?
We love you.
Still
They're members forever in the ether, somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Okay. Here you go, darling. Take your pick.
Journey. Daughters of our mother, walkers of the unknown, take with you on this journey all that you hone.
Wow. Ooh, this is very deep. This is an entree into Scorpio season.
It really is.
What this is.
It really is. It super resonates with me because I was just like journaling about this. In fact, I was just talking to you about this, and then I posted something about it just like on my personal social media, I don't know, a couple days ago. But about this eclipse season just really like letting go of the reins and really relying on the things that I've already honed and tapping a lot more into my spirit guides and my ancestors, and was like doing a lot of like work with that today, and just being like, okay, that's the only thing I'm open to messaging from, and everything else I'm not manifesting anything. I'm not really doing spell work, nothing like that. So yeah.
I like that. And I want to describe the artwork on here. There's sort of a naked from the back, like a person with a long braid, and they're standing and they're looking down this corridor kind of with a bunch of trees, but there's like a very meandering path. So I think obviously the idea of journey and the artwork is what it's evoking for me. It is a winding path.
Yeah.
It's not a like, point A to point B. And I like this daughters of our mother, and they're capitalized. Daughters is capitalized, mothers, which means they're talking about sort of the archetypal daughter and mother, not necessarily the, female gender type of meaning. The archetypal mother that we all have. And even on this journey, you get to take that with you. So, it's very deep. And again, it's very Scorpio for me as well.
I like that the path is lit, but everything around it is dark.
Yes.
So that's like very, even though some people could look at that and think that's a little scary, I think that's also comforting, because it's like, you don't need to see everything around you, and you don't need to see everything that's in front of you. You just need to see that path that you're walking, and that's really all that matters.
That's very true, and it is easy to forget that or to feel like that isn't true, but it's true.
Yes, good reminder.
Yes, very nice. I like that. Okay, let's jump into a why, though.
Okay.
We're sort of still in the midst of eclipse season, so lest we forget, that is what is happening still, which is a lot. It's a lot of big energy. It's a lot of letting go energy, because we're in that south node kind of place with the eclipse. So, just beware, but not, in a negative way. But, just be aware, I guess, is more what I'm saying.
I wrote like a little mantra for eclipse season.
Oh, I love that.
It just came to me. Do your best and don't manifest.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about why not manifest?
So, yeah, and it's a little bit controversial because some people will be like, I can manifest whenever I want to. And yeah, that's
of course you can.
True. You can do whatever you want to do. But typically with eclipse season, it's very chaotic. There's a lot of just like big energy. What you want to think of with eclipse season is that it's big picture. It's a big picture time.
Yes.
It's not a day-to-day, short-term goal focused season. It's a very long-term, very like, whole life journey type of season. Mm-hmm. So they're just like in nature, there's times to harvest, there's times to rest, mm-hmm. There's times to do and there's times to not. This is kind of like the astrological equivalent to that. Mm-hmm. There are times where manifesting is great and everything is aligned and that feels really good. And then there are times where you have to let that go and understand that letting go of that control is going to be what's going to bring about, the things that are meant for you.
And especially when we have a new moon.
Yep.
Initiating this eclipse season, which isn't always the case, and this is something I would like to get into in a different episode, but every new moon begins basically a 2.5 year lunar mm-hmm. cycle where every 9 months after the first new moon, mm-hmm. there's like more fruition that comes from whatever that is. So because also eclipse, like this is a very powerful time. Mm-hmm. And although the new moon sometimes is seen as a time to manifest and plan, mm-hmm. You can obviously take that lots of different ways. And the dark moon and the new moon mm-hmm. overlap and are sort of synonymous too. Mm-hmm. So you can take that dark moon time to like mm-hmm. rest and recess. And so, as always, there's lots of ways to interpret this stuff. And I think you have to feel out and feel into what feels good for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just like really paying attention to the cues of nature and the natural cues around you are really important to do because I think it's very easy to be out of touch with those things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we insist on doing things because we just really want to have that control. And it's like, well, I can do it if I want to. Again, you can do whatever you want. But there are times where perhaps you shouldn't just do something because you want to.
Well, and that is also the lesson of the Aries-Libra polarity.
Yep.
And so anyway, it's all tying together. It's all there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple things that are happening
in
this week. So I don't know if you had anything date-wise before this, but I'm starting with Sun-Mercury conjunction on October 19th. Mm-hmm. So as we have said before, and is often the case, Mercury and the Sun, travel closely together. Well, Sun doesn't travel, I guess. Mercury travels around the Sun. But anyways, when they're conjunct, they're in the same sign, they're together. Mm-hmm. And Mercury's about to go into Scorpio a few days after this. So this is like a pretty powerful, like sort of, again, like doubling down of this Libra energy. Mm-hmm. It's a positive aspect for socializing and networking because you really have the Sun self out there with the, communication self.
Yeah.
And kind of maybe, presenting or meeting people where you happen to like spark these, maybe energies, whether it's relationship or money, which could also mean work sometimes. Mm-hmm. So yeah, lots of different things.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good balancing time. Right?
Totally.
That's, when everything's kind of like matching up. I think I said that on one of the last episodes, like I sort of like when the planets start to, match up. It feels a little bit less fraught. And especially during eclipse season, it's nice to have these little respites built in where it's like, okay, that just kind of makes sense and feels okay.
Yeah, definitely. But then shortly after that, we do have Mercury moving into Scorpio.
Yeah.
So, sort of Mercury's last hurrah in that camaraderie of Libra is like, hey,
let's be friends, guys.
Yeah. And then Mercury's like going into Scorpio, which is, going to be less direct communication, a little more, passive brooding on subjects before. Yeah.
I have no idea what you mean.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just saying, yeah. Scorpio can also be uncommunicative, frankly. And so
does not resonate with me.
She's silent while I'm saying this. Yeah, so just again, as usual, be aware. You might feel or notice in other people a pretty big shift around that and around communication style, around things like that.
Yeah. I also think that for that, maybe take a cue. Sometimes it's good to do that. Maybe take a cue from Scorpio in terms of some things you really should keep hidden. And they're better sometimes at the time to keep them that way. I think our culture is very much about like, which in a lot of ways is positive, but, you know, be open about everything and just process everything. And it's like, sometimes you really do need to keep certain things like to yourself, and it's okay to do that and process them the way that you need to before you kind of let them out. I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I think that's a great thing, actually. I think like venting and over emoting is not always a great thing. So, you know, definitely there's always positive lessons to learn. And I think it's interesting too, Mercury is staying in Scorpio for just a very short time this time. Yeah. Very short time. So, and it's kind of smack in the middle of the peak of spooky season. So it's pretty interesting. Interesting timing. So yeah, just, you know, stuff to be aware of. Anything else in the why though?
You mentioned that. No, yeah.
There's nothing else.
No, there's nothing else. We're moving into Scorpio season. You mentioned that.
That's but that'll be, you know, I think we'll really hit that nail on the head next time. So yeah. All right. Well, so then that's why though.
That's why though. Yep.
Okay, God, why do I feel like every single time this big witch energy, I need to just...
Takes a lot of energy?
Yes, I need to like really find the energy. This is a What the Cusp.
Yep, Libra-Scorpio edition.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I feel like these cusps just get worse and worse.
Yeah.
For me to think about.
Yeah. So I feel like we forgot the last What the Cusp, maybe the last two, I don't know. But I think we forgot to say our little like caveat to the What the Cusp.
Yeah, it's because we were so distraught about the cusps that anyway.
We just neglected to say it, but we will say it now because I know this one is, I know we're going to get comments if we don't. So we're just saying it. You're not a 50-50 combination of the signs. That's not what we're saying, okay? So don't add us about this cusp thing. But when you are at the late degrees of a sign and the early degrees of another sign, your personal planets are going to be in either one of those, and it very much colors your entire chart and who you are. And so that is what we mean by cusp energy.
Yeah, so you are one. But you have the influence heavily of the other.
Yes. And that's what we mean, so stop it.
Yes, so don't even start, especially
with this.
If you're in this one, we don't want to hear about it.
We don't want to hear about it.
No, so okay, but that's always a good reminder. You're right, we've been forgetting to say that. I think it really is because we've been so distraught about these cusp energies.
I agree.
No less so with this one, in fact. Yeah. So we're talking about the cusp of Libra and Scorpio.
Right.
Which runs, you know, there are certain degrees, but the dates end up being around the 19th to the 25th-ish of October. So this... And we did not make this up, okay?
No, we're not making
this is called the cusp of drama and criticism.
I love how it's two things.
Okay. First of all, why did they get two?
I don't know. They're two bad things. I'm sure they don't appreciate having two.
And they're not great with the connotation.
No, they're really not, and it's a little offensive, to be honest. It's mildly offensive to me because I'm one of those terms, and I know which one they're saying I am.
Which one do you think they're saying you are?
Obviously, they're saying I'm the drama. They're calling me the drama.
No, I think that's not true.
You think I'm the criticism?
I'm not saying you are the criticism. I'm saying that I think the criticism I think they both refer to both, to be fair.
Well, if they both refer to both, then I guess fine, but I think it's rude.
Well, because for me, I was seeing the criticism coming in terms of Pluto being the ruling planet of Scorpio and having this very serious, heavy kind of pointed vibe. That's where I was interpreting the criticism.
Yeah, I can see that now that you're saying that.
And I was interpreting the drama, honestly, I can see both on both sides, but I was interpreting the drama more on the Libra side of kind of that indecisive, kind of theatrical sense of like just always being like in La La Land, you know how they are.
Yeah, like air sign-ish up there. Yeah,
right.
I guess so. I guess I'm just like triggered because, you know, that's like a common trait that people talk about with Scorpios is that they're so dramatic.
But I think they both go with both. Obviously, I think Scorpio can be dramatic because it's like pulling from the depths of everything. And that can, whether they're being dramatic about it, that is dramatic.
Right.
And then I think criticism can clearly go on the Libra side because they have this, you know, kind of judgment and the scales, and we're both just like,
we're both.
Thing. So I think both words do apply to both.
Great.
And it's interesting, though, that you were personally offended by that.
Super offended. I was like, I've looked it up and I'm like, wait, am I the drama? Like, literally, I'm a meme.
No, but, you know.
Rude.
You're also not born in the cusp. So.
No, I'm not. So I'm like, I don't have a name
so it
for my time period.
No, it doesn't. So, okay, let's just go in a little bit more. I think these words do have negative connotations, but I was trying to think about what this means. And I think it can also be in terms of like drama, like the theater, right?
Sure.
And there's critics of the theater.
Okay. I like where you're going with this.
And so criticism in that sense is not negative. It's simply observing and commenting with opinion on something that you're seeing that's been produced, that's happening, right?
Right.
And so I think if we apply that interpretation and sort of think about the person who's embodying that energy, I think that they can have a really difficult time.
Yeah, because like they're the performer, but they're also the critic.
Exactly.
So they're like being the critic of their own selves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oof.
I know.
That makes a lot of sense though in thinking about everything else that is going to come up for this. That I feel like that's what that is.
And for me, that also ties in, you know, the little age game that we always play with this. So the age associated with this cusp is the age of 49.
Okay.
And I think the age number itself isn't as significant in this case. On some of them it is. It's like 21 and, you know, that type of age. This is more like you're transitioning out of midlife into midlife, like directly into like that midlife time. You know, you're right in the middle of the midlife is what I'm trying to say. And I think it is a time of increasing awareness of the dynamics between yourself and your place in the world and the world at large. We're sort of transitioning from interpersonal signs into transpersonal signs. And just the consciousness is really expanding. And in that sense, I could really see too, like the drama and the criticism in that like sort of theatrical and critical kind of sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's intense.
It kind of is.
Like really intense. That could be like crazy.
Yeah.
Just considering all those things and I don't envy that placement.
No, I think the cusps are challenging.
Yeah, they are.
In general.
Yeah.
And I think this one is pretty tough.
It is. I know. Until you're saying these things, I didn't really think about it being tough like that. But now that you're describing it that way, I'm like, that is. Yeah.
Well, what else were you thinking? I feel like I've read my whole list already.
Yeah. Well, no, you were actually like spitting facts. I was just being offended. So I spent the whole first half of this just being mad, and you're just, you know, actually giving like, you know, pertinent information. So perhaps I should try to do the same. Okay. What I felt like with this cusp is that this person, right, would be like almost to a detriment, sort of like you were describing. Like a master, like reader of the vibes. Like, this person is so about vibes that it's not even funny. Like,
ooh, yeah.
they're picking up on all of it, but then they're like really second guessing themselves and like self-critical about like, well, maybe they didn't like mean it that way, and maybe you're just like over exaggerating and that's you. But then that like Scorpio energy is coming in being like, they're all against me. Like, it's just like, but were they to actually like trust that intuition, I feel like they would be spot on about a lot of things.
But I think you're so right on with that, because when we look at the energies that are being exchanged or transitioning here, it's air and water.
Yes.
Which means they are missing earth and fire. Yeah. And fire is that intuitive energy. So I think they can have a mistrust of intuition. They can also have a mistrust of sort of pure physicality in that earth sense. And so, like you said, if they could only trust their own intuition, they probably wouldn't struggle as much, but I bet they struggle a lot.
Yeah, because it's such a good point that you pointed out the elements, because they're going from like up here air to like down there water. And it's like they're nowhere in between. And it's just like being up here and seeing everything like scope, right? And like taking all these different perspectives like a Libra would do. And then diving all the way down in the depths and being like, can't see like anything for what it is, just like down here in your feels.
Yes, and especially when we are talking about this Libra-Scorpio transition.
Yes. It's
just like, yes, it's like from way up there to like way down there, And at the other point in the wheel that we've already covered, where we see the air to water transition, is Gemini to Cancer.
Yeah.
And like, it's not as deep. It's not as harsh. This, I feel, is a very, there's some power struggle going on in this one.
Yeah. It feels like a fall.
Yes.
Whereas like
like Icarus or something.
Yes, like a fall.
Yeah.
Like a deep, dark, perilous drop. Whereas Gemini to Cancer is more of like it's almost like a vapor over like a waterfall that's gently falling. It's just kind of going in and blending in. This is like, woo.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, no, and in the Gemini Cancer, it's like almost like this mist.
Yes, like
that's
a mist.
Like combining the air and the water.
Yes, and just sort of gently.
Yes, here, now it's water, and whatever. No, you're right. It's not. It's not like that at all. It's dramatic.
Yes.
It really is.
It is dramatic.
Yes. I know.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Let's see. Oh, so here's something that I was reading and thinking about. This cusp can really be known for frank and sort of that brutal honesty.
I can see that.
And that's where we really have this criticism, but maybe with the flair of drama to it, is, they can really present you their point and just drive it home.
But I also think that that's happening with this aesthetic veneer of like being put together and like being able to be like and like saying it, but like hiding all kinds of things in there that they're not talking about.
Well, yeah, and I think these are probably the kind of people that people go to them for. You always like, you're a straight shooter, like you'll always tell me like it is, and they're like, oh yeah, I will. And then they do, and the person's like that was a lot.
Yeah, and then that person's like, they're the drama and the criticism.
Yes,
don't
exactly.
talk to them.
Yeah, yes, but that's why you talk to them.
Yeah.
And then, they're out there like doling out the, the yeses and the nos and the whatever. And then inside they're just like, ugh.
Yes. Because inside they're just like down there, like no one knows.
Yeah.
But if I like cultivate my aesthetic well enough, like no one will see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. No, I think that's very true. I think that's very true. There is definitely, again, going back to the planets that are at play here. We have Venus.
Yeah.
We have Pluto.
Yeah. Pluto.
Very different, right? Yeah.
The Pluto report.
The Pluto report. No, Pluto, we've talked about Pluto, but it's transformative. It's deep.
Yeah.
It's demanding a lot from you.
Yeah.
And then we have Venus, which, I think it has depth, certainly.
Sure.
But is much more playful just as a planetary energy. And is much more like, she's just like you know, dancing around the sun and doing a little thing, you know? And Pluto's out there like, you know?
Yes.
So these are the planets that are trying to communicate and transition this energy. Like, they're so far apart.
Yeah, again, it's like this huge, like, fall, like, difference. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought one of the interesting things is the signs and the planets. Like, Libra being a day sign.
Oh, yeah.
Ruled by a night planet.
Yes.
And Scorpio is a night sign ruled by a day planet.
See, and that's amazing because,
right?
Yeah, it really is this combination of opposing forces.
Yeah.
That do, I mean, they transition, they come together, they intermingle, but I don't think it's easy.
No, and it's interesting, too, that they each coexist that way and then intermingle. It's like day-night and night-day.
Yeah.
And then also night-day, day-night, night-day.
Totally.
The heck?
Yeah.
Like, no wonder they're, like, dramatic and critical.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. And everyone's like, okay.
Yeah. No, that's really true. I also think it's interesting, too, because, like we've said, Libra is an air sign.
Yeah.
But Venus also rules Taurus, which is an earth sign. And so I think Venus kind of has the air and the earth energy herself. You know? She's, like, really occupied with, like, relationships and, like, that higher level of human functioning, but also, like, comfortable, like, physicality and sensuality and things like that.
Right.
So I just feel like this cusp, like, has, like, bits of everything. There's, like, sensual thought.
Yeah.
There's, like, this transformative kind of evaluating of, like, the deepest things, but also, like, on this level of how it looks on the outside. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. The way that it was described and sort of as I was putting the things together, it reminded me of, like, the genre of, like, a dark romance book. Like, kind of like gothic romance, but more, like, cheesy, like, dark romance, where it's, like, this brooding sort of, like, almost like Twilight-ish in a way. There's, like, a brooding, like, you know, central character. It's usually a male in these things.
And he's not wearing a shirt. And
exactly. But is, like, misunderstood. And, like, you know, and, like, you know, the female. It's like if this cusp were, like, a literary genre, I feel like that's what it would be.
Yeah. No, I think you're totally right. And there's drama and then the criticism and even that, like, self-loathing, you know, that's like, oh, I'm so misunderstood.
But the sexuality, too, and, like, kind of, like, a little dark and a little strange, and it's like, oh, but, like, is there sexuality here? And it's like, yes, there is, but it's, like, different.
Yeah.
Like, oh. Yeah, right?
Totally.
That's what it is.
No, this is it's a weird cusp.
Yeah.
And again, cusps are always challenging.
Yeah.
But this one, and I don't feel the same way about it that I did about some of the other ones that I was really, like, not feeling. But there's just so much going on in this one.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's so many elements. I mean, I know there's literally only 2 elements trying to come together, but I think because of the planets and the rulerships there, and it's just so much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I know.
I think we've said this about a select few other energies, but almost to the point where, like, they don't even understand what's going on half the time. No. And I also think, and this is also just going along with my thing about the dark romance, but I feel like they're also very, like, they have a lot of magnetism to them. Like, Scorpios really do. I feel like Libras do too, though, because of the social component.
Yes, and the sort of aesthetic presentation.
Yes,
and all of
the
that.
aesthetic presentation, exactly. So I feel like people are drawn to them, like, ooh, who's that? Like, new person. It's ridiculous. But they are. And, like, that person is like, wait, me? But then is like, okay, I guess I'll just, like, lean into that, like, persona.
Yeah, okay, so now it is time to bring up some celebrity birthdays.
Okay, yes, please.
Okay, because actually, all 3 of these ones that I selected, in their own way, 100% fit exactly what you were just saying.
Oh my gosh, okay, I'm excited now.
Okay, Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you could easily say, like, the epitome of superficial aesthetic and fake, you know. But I don't know. Heard she's got a lot of depth to her. She does all this like legal work and all this kind of stuff. And,
brilliant person.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know her, and whatever. But just saying,
it's true.
I think there's like an almost like this, like you were saying a few minutes ago. Like, I think the depth is hidden.
It's hidden
because it is to her advantage to hide it and to play up this other thing in this, communication and this kind of intellect. But it's almost like this airheadedness that they go with intentionally.
Yeah, and it's lucrative to her, and she's a master at that. So yeah, that's absolutely true.
I know. So okay, another one, Snoop Dogg.
Oh wow. Okay, yes, totally. For like the same reasons, but different, but the same.
Yes, because look, Snoop Dogg has been like, he's one of the original like gangster rappers in the 90s, and now he's like doing shit with Martha Stewart, which God love Martha, I love Martha.
Yes.
But and then people don't know, like he was literally like accused and put on trial for murder. Like this person is complex and has different hidden sides that they bring forward. And show what they want to show when they want to show it to their own advantage. And I mean, also aesthetic on point, like hello.
Oh my gosh. And is constantly reinventing that to match the stage in life that he is, and everything, like rebranding and doing things with Martha Stewart and stuff. Like he doesn't just get stuck. He's able to really adapt to that and appeal to the people, but like keep the rest of that really like private and hidden. And he is like really true to who he still owns the same house he's owned for like 30 years or something.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Always cool.
Always cool.
So, okay, there's one. And then the last one is Pablo Picasso.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like for him, like if you just, I don't know, anyone walking on the street and you're like, name an artist, Picasso, like
totally.
It's like the ubiquitous artist.
Yep.
But, famously sort of a mess as a human.
Totally.
Went super deep with, like representing, his art in his own way, that obviously aesthetic quality to art, but just really going off the deep end with that in that Scorpio sense.
Yes.
Challenging norms and just being it'd be really interesting to see what the rest of his chart is actually. But also a very like fraught person. I think he struggled a lot in his personal life with women and things like that, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, and obviously the drama and the criticism, in the art world the drama of his artwork. Anyways, so
and just the circles that he ran in with like the other authors and artists and people at the time, like Fitzgerald and Coco Chanel and everything, like just that whole group, right? Like very, very focused on aesthetic and sort of what they were presenting. It's true for all of them, and he's like the epitome of it, but like hiding these things underneath and like really is like such a hidden person.
Also communicating it in these like really creative and still sort of abstract and obscure kind of ways where you would, people are still like if you just like look at the one like Guernica, like maybe his masterpiece, if you want to call it that, people look and comb through that and analyze that, and there's no end to it to this day.
And it's almost like such a monolith, like people don't even know like what time period he was alive or when he was producing art. It's sort of this like nebulous thing. Like Picasso, wasn't that in like the 1700s, right?
Yeah, but also like didn't he just die 10 years ago?
Yes, it's like so vague and people don't really know because he really kept, that to himself.
And he did live a really long time, so there's also that. But
oddly long.
So I know. So anyway, those were the people that I selected out of this birth cusp period.
Well, those were excellent, and
I think they really encapsulate everything we were trying to talk about.
Yeah, they really did, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it when that happens.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, this is, like we said, sort of a very odd, interesting, complex cusp, and I'm still not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, I have a little bit
But they'll
more...
probably tell me how I feel about it if I meet one of them, you know?
They'll call you out on how you should feel. And Yeah, I have a little bit more empathy, though, for it, because that is a lot going on. It'd be hard to manage.
Definitely is. So, okay, I think I've exhausted my big witch energy on that subject.
Me too. I'm done.
That being said, let's do a spell of the week.
Let's do that.
Okay, so in celebration and commemoration of Libra season.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
And Eclipse season and everything else, okay? I have decided the spell of the week is called the Decision Maker.
Ooh.
Okay. So I feel like I'm about to do an infomercial.
Sounds like a 90s wrestler.
Yeah, that too. But I'm like, do you have trouble making decisions? Do you have something big going on in your life? You want a little help? Decision Maker, 3,000.
And I'm like, how much is it?
Yeah, exactly. But wait, there's more. No, so for this spell, what you're going to need is a bowl of water.
Okay.
You're going to need paper cut into strips of, I don't know, whatever kind of length that you want. Mm-hmm. You're going to need a pen, and you're going to need, that's all you really need.
Okay.
So what the spell is you're going to think about a decision that you're needing to make.
Okay.
And so you're going to have however many slips of paper that you need, and on each one, you're going to write sort of an outcome or a decision that you could make on the paper. Mm-hmm. You know, whether if something's simple and you're just going to write yes or no on the papers, or even if it's something really big, you could just write yes or no on the papers.
Okay.
But you could also be more detailed. Like if you have like different kinds of outcomes that you could predict or kind of wondering which way to go with something. Mm. So you're going to write one on each of the papers, and then you're going to fold the slips so that you kind of end up with it in like a triangle.
Okay,
so
I got you.
It can
yeah,
like
so
stand up like a triangle by itself. So then you're going to get your bowl. You're going to put water in it. And then you're going to float these papers on the water in the bowl. And you're going to stand them up so that they're like up like a triangle.
Like this, yeah.
And you're just going to put them in there. And then you're going to see, and you got to pick beforehand which way you're going to do this. Mm-hmm. Either whichever one sinks first is your answer, or whichever one sinks last is your answer. And you have to decide beforehand. You have to put the intention to it of which way you're going to go with it.
Okay.
And then when either of those moments occurs, you are going to pull the paper and see what it says.
Okay.
So it's sort of a divination, a little bit of a divination spell. Yeah. You know, obviously you're also not locked into this. This is not, you know, Russian roulette. So you can just use it as guidance. Or if it's something silly and unimportant and you just want to try it out, like what movie to watch, like that could be fun. Because whatever you pick, you're going to want to watch. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Libras are like, okay.
I know. So yeah, this is a little help for the Libra energy that's still floating around out here.
Make a decision.
Pick something. Just order already.
Exactly. I love that. This is fun.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun one. And like I said, you can use it in a serious way or you can just use it in silly ways, and it's fun.
Cute. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. That's your spell of the week.
That's good. Okay.
Okay.
That's a lot.
I know.
And enough, I think.
I think so too.
Okay.
So I guess that wraps up our whole episode. So until next time.
Stay witchy, friends.
And stay dumb.
Dumb Witch Club is written and produced by us, Ashley Sidner.
And Jackie Gerard at the Dumb Witch Clubhouse in Orange County, California.
Produced and edited by Matt Heinemeyer. Creative Director and Culture Consultant, Violet Turner.
Original music by Ashley Sidner. And look us up on all your favorite social media platforms, including Patreon.
Until next time, stay witchy, friends.
And stay dumb.